What's up, everybody? It's Pac-Man from Drunk Monkey Garage. Today we're going to finish up all the sanding and buffing of all the parts of the 2010 Harley Davidson Fat Bob. This is the last step before we all get together and install all the parts back on the bike. That should be exciting. If you haven't seen the previous videos in this, I'll link the playlist for all the videos in this series at the end of the video. Make sure you check those out. If you're a subscriber, thanks for watching us. If you aren't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and make sure you hit that bell icon for notification of all of our future videos. So far, we've gotten the front fender done. The tank is done. This is the rear fender. I put a coat of clear on the side covers yesterday, so we're gonna let those cure. I'm not sure if they're actually going to need polished. It laid out pretty smooth. There is a small run that I might have to fix, but it's in a spot where you wouldn't really see it anyway, so we'll make that decision later. As far as today, we're going to wet sand and polish this rear fender, get it to look like glass. We've got a few dust nibs in here that we're going to have to take out. Hopefully the 1000 grit will take those out. I was fortunate on the tank that the 1000 grit, the first step in the wet sanding process, took all the flaws out of it. So this is a multi-step process. I start out with a DA and a 1000 grit wet sandpaper. Then I progressively move up through 1200 to 1500 to 2000 to 3000. And then after that, I go to a 3000 soft pad, 2000 and 3000 soft pads. And this just kind of smooths everything out in preparation for the buffing operation. And that is also a 3-step process. I start out with a coarse pad, cutting pad. This gets all the fine scratches out of that the sanding sponges leave. And then you go to a finishing compound. And then the last step is a polishing compound. Without any further ado, I'm going to get to it. I'll set the camera up for a good angle so that you guys can see what I'm doing. We're going to probably time lapse this because it is a few hour process. So now we're going to move to the 1200 grit. This is the second step. We've gotten all the high and low spots leveled out pretty much. There is still a little bit of shine to it, but it's generally in areas that aren't going to be seen. They're going to be covered with the seat and stuff. So all the important parts are nice and smooth. We're going to move to the 1200, and this will take out the 1000 grit scratches, which is making it look dull. As we progress through the grits and get finer and finer, the shine will start coming back. So now we've got all the orange peel taken out of the part. Let me show you. All the orange peel's taken out of the part. Now all we're doing is trying to get all the small scratches from the previous sandpaper out to bring the shine back. So there wasn't much orange peel in this part. There was a little bit. The main thing I was concerned about was some dust nibs up in this area here, but we've gotten all those out. This is the point where it's important to put enough clear on it in order to be able to sand back everything without burning through the clear and going into the color. So this particular part had, I believe, 4 coats of finished clear on it before I started sanding. So we still have a few little shiny spots, but I think those are under the seat, and I don't think they're going to make much of a difference. So let's continue on. I'm moving to a Trizac 1500 grit right now. Same process as before. So I'll put you guys back on time lapse and we'll get back to it. Now, as you can see, we've gone from a matte finish to kind of a semi-gloss. So that means we're getting there. That 1500 Trizac really brought some gloss back to it. Still has kind of a semi-gloss look to it, but as we progress through the sanding grits, this will get shinier and shinier, and then we'll refine it with the buffing. So at this point, we're going to go to a 1500 purple finishing film. This will refine that scratch a little bit more, and then we'll move on to 2000. Now, as you can see, we're starting to get some of that luster back. It's a nice, even shine to it. Like I said, as we progress through the grits, it'll get shinier and shinier. The thing is, you don't want to leave any like visible scratch marks in it. If you do that, then you're going to have to go back to the step before, redo that, and start from there again. So we're almost there. We're about to hit it with the 3000 grit sanding sponge. And then after that, we'll be ready to break out the buffer and start using some buffing compound to refine this shine a little bit, bring it back to a glass-like appearance. So now, as you can see by the light, we've taken all the waviness out of the finish. Now we just have to bring back the shine. At this point, we're looking pretty good. I did burn through one little edge down here. We'll touch that up with the airbrush and throw some clear on that. Should be fine. But other than that, we've got her looking pretty good, and we can move on to the polishing phase. We're going to use our buffer, 6-inch buffer. We're going to start out with a coarse foam pad and the Meguiar's diamond cut. Then we'll move on to the medium foam pad with the mirror glaze medium cut cleaner. And then we'll finish it off with the fine foam pad and the professional swirl remover. This is the process that I have used on all the other parts, and it's served me well. Different people have different methods, but this isn't really a tutorial as much as just showing you guys what I do and how I do it in a garage. So with that being said, I'll put you guys back on time lapse and we'll get to it. Yeah, you can see how that first round of buffing with the coarse pad and the diamond cut compound, how much shine that brought back already. What doesn't translate through the video is there's still some cloudiness to it. Got a good shine to it, but it still looks a little murky, a little cloudy. So that's the purpose of the next two steps of buffing. Just get that cloudiness out of there and make it look like glass and really bring the shine out. So now we're going on to the medium cut cleaner with the green medium foam pad. As you see, with every step, we're getting a little more shine to it. It's looking really good. One thing I do is between each step, I clean off the compound, and as you can see in the corner there, I use a new rag for every step. This way you don't cross-contaminate and put bigger scratches in when you're using a finer compound. It's just the way I do it. Seems to work pretty good. We're going to move on to the last buffing step, which is the swirl remover with the fine foam pad. After that, I may go over it again with a smaller pad just to get into the little nooks and crannies and shine everything up really good. So, see you on the other side. That's beautiful. I think we're done. Well, there we have it, guys. All the parts are painted, cleared, sanded, and buffed. Unfortunately, it's cloudy and rainy today, so I can't take them outside and show you what they look like in the sunlight. But we've got some time before the assembly of this, so hopefully this week we'll get a nice day and I can get a video up of all the panels out in the sunshine, let you guys see what they really look like. I want to thank all you guys who've stuck with me throughout this process. Like I said, this wasn't a tutorial. This was just kind of documenting my process in creating a custom paint job. I didn't use any fancy tools, or, I don't have a fancy paint booth or anything like that. This is all done out of my garage. Few things I don't skimp on is the product. I use a high quality product. That way I get the best results out of it. The tools really don't make the painter. It's more about being comfortable with what you're using, knowing how to use the tools and products that you have. This is only my second full paint job on a motorcycle. The first one was the Breakout that I did the crystal on. So it doesn't take a lot, but you have to be persistent and you have to pay attention to the details and just follow through with everything that you're doing. There were a few times in this project where if it had been my motorcycle, I probably would have just gave up and painted it black again. But I worked through those, I learned stuff, and here we are. So don't let the lack of expensive tools or fancy equipment keep you guys from being creative. The next and last video on this project is going to be the three of us putting the bike back together, so watch out for that. Which brings me to the point: like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon for notifications of future videos. If you guys watching have any tips or critiques, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Not only for me, but for other people watching the videos. You know, like I said, I do things differently than other people. Some people may be comfortable doing things a different way. If so, go ahead and leave a comment. You know, you got to try a couple of different ways. There may be ways of doing things that I don't even know about. So I'd be willing to try it, see what the easiest way to do it is. This was a process because I was learning a lot. Did a lot of things here that I hadn't done before. So guys, get out there and be creative. Thanks for watching, and as always, until next time, cheers.